Hey, keep on getting cut off for some reason. Anyway, all right, so there's the picture again. So let's move on. All right, so this one, they're giving us another situation. So we had 2 1/10 pounds of grapes. We bought 2 bags of grapes that were 3 1/10 pound each. And then it looks like something's going to happen to some grapes. What happens to our grapes? Oh, we then ate 3 5/10 pounds of grapes. So let's see if we can figure out how many pounds of grapes are left over. All right, so we got to use the order of operations. Once again, what keeps happening to my notes page? It makes me sad. All right, there we go. Okay, I have my handy dandy pen now. So we have to follow the order of operations. They are on this notes page right here. Brackets, parentheses, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Today, really, we're only focusing on these two parts because it doesn't look like we've had any grouping symbols yet. So brackets and parentheses are our grouping symbols, but unless we have grouping symbols, we really don't use them. So we do need to focus on multiplication, division coming first. So the first thing we're going to do in this problem is, even though it's smack dab in the middle, we're going to multiply 3 1/10 times 2. All right, so we are finding out what the total value of 2 bags of grapes that are 3 1/10 pound each are. And we find we have 6 and 2, but we have 1 decimal place up here, so we need 1 decimal place down here. So our total value, or our total pounds of grapes, is 6 2/10. So that's actually what's happening first. We're finding out what the total value is of, or the total pounds of the 2 bags of grapes. Now we still have all these other parts. We have the 2 1/10 pound of grapes originally. We're still adding it to the amount of grapes that we bought, and then we're still going to subtract the amount of grapes that got eaten. All right, so before we can subtract the amount of grapes that got eaten, we have to find out how much were bought to begin, or how many pounds of grapes we had to begin with. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 6 plus 2 is a number that I can't think of right now, 8. And then we are going to drop our decimal point like it's hot. So we have 8 3/10 pounds of grapes, and then we eat 3 5/10. So the reason why we don't have these two numbers anymore is because that's what we added over here. So instead of having to add them, we just have 8 3/10 now. I need to make that a decimal point. All right, so we have 8 3/10 minus 3 5/10. 8 3/10 was the answer to 2 1/10 plus 6 2/10. So our final thing that we need to do is take our amount of grapes that we have, amount of pounds of grapes that we have, and subtract the amount of pounds of grapes that we eat. And I'm tripping on my words a lot right now, but when I'm thinking out loud, this kind of makes me realize whether I'm doing the problem correctly or incorrectly. So it's okay to do that, especially if you're correcting yourself. So sometimes it sounds like you're like, well, to me it sounds like I'm losing my mind, but I know that what I'm doing is correcting myself. So in fact, I still have a mind. Congratulations, Mr. Johnson. All right, so we got to borrow because we cannot take away 5 from 3. So there is a 7. That makes this a 13 because we take the 1 over here. That's 10/10. So 13 minus 5 is 8. And then we have 7 minus 3, which is 4. And then we bring the decimal point down. So after we eat all the grapes, we would have 4 8/10 pounds left over. I'm sorry, that didn't work out very well. It's not very pretty. Oh, it stayed over there too. But that would be the end of our simplifying the expression. Maybe if I do a prettier, like a brighter color, it'll stay on top. The wonders of trying new things. All right, so that's why I keep running out of time, because it was back there. So 4 8/10 is what we have left. And then when we come back, we're going to take a look at one more example. And on that example, we have a different situation. So we'll see you then.